Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carrie. Today I'm going to do a little get ready with me, talking about some of my feelings just about life in general right now, my quarter life crisis, you know, the panorama, the panini press that we're going through, no big deal. So if you're interested in hearing about that, and you can relate to, feeling a little off during these times and you just want to dish and talk about it, then just keep on watching. Okay, let's get my hair out of my face before we dive into this tea. Before we dive into the tea, I don't even have like a headband. I don't even own headbands anymore, so I have to use a scarf to tie my hair back. Okay, I'm just gonna do a very, very basic look. Okay, I need to keep that mirror out because otherwise the light's gonna be messed up. Okay, so I wanted to make this video and I figured I would get ready just so there's something for you else. There's something else for you to look at so that I'm not just sitting there talking. But we all know that things are very strange and very weird right now. And I've just been kind of going through it. I feel like I'm having, let me get some lotion on. Y'all see that? Wow. Why didn't you tell me I was ashy? Fake. Just kidding. Gotta make sure your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted before YouTube, because you can't be on here being ashy. Okay, anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, we all know this time is very weird, very strange. There's a lot of horrible things going on in the world, and it just sucks. And it's just freaking terrible. I don't know what else to say besides that. But I feel like right now, and I don't know if it's because of the isolation or what, but I feel like I'm going through like another quarter life crisis for sure. Because I'm just like I don't know, I'm definitely not old. I wouldn't say that I'm old, but I'm definitely at an age where I'm telling myself anyway that I should have some sort of life plan or like, I don't know, an idea to start of where I want my career to go and where I would like to be and all that stuff. And I know those are all societal constructs and it's all made up, and I'm in my 20s, like that's not old. It is not old at all. And I know and I see very clear examples of people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and like in the prime of their life, and they have purpose and, all that stuff. But, and again, I think it is because of the isolation that you have nothing to do but look at yourself, look at where you are, and contemplate and really think about it. And sometimes that entails, a lot of the times, this voice in your mind that's like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, you should be doing this by now, blah, blah, you're a failure, whatever. And yeah, I'm just at this point where I'm lacking purpose in my work. And I know what my interests are, but I just don't know like what to do about that or where to go. I've been in a place for the past several years, at least 5, where I'm kind of just like trying stuff out and seeing where it goes and whatever. Because I just, at least for a lot of my young years and teenage years, I never was like, yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that. I didn't have like a firm idea of, like I knew what I wanted my lifestyle to look like, if that makes any sense, but I didn't know anything that I was like really especially good at. I feel like I'm definitely one of those people that's like, I'm multi-passionate, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way towards myself, because I do believe I have the ability to be spectacular at something, but I've never been especially like excellent at something, if that makes any sense. And so right now, after you go through college, because like when you're in high school, it's like, not everyone, but at least in my situation, when I was in high school, my goal was to get into college. Got into college, you know, your goal is just to get through college at that point. Then your goal while you're in college is to get a job. You know, I got a job, you know, with my skill set and, you know, yada, yada. And then now I feel like I'm just kind of stagnant, comfortable, I don't know, riding the waves. Haven't really found that thing that's like, yes, this is awesome. This is amazing. This is what you want to pursue. This is what you're good at, you know, type of thing. So I don't know. I'm definitely just feeling that. And it can feel very confusing at times because it's kind of one of those things where there's no like light at the end of the tunnel, or I'm a very visual person, and so like not being able to see into the future. Why can't I see into the future, you know? It's something that's very like, what the heck, I don't know what's going to happen. And I would just very much like to know what is going to happen, or what, you know, what my it factor is. I'm definitely struggling with that, for sure. So I don't know, I'm kind of like job searching right now. Like I have a job, but I've been doing it, not at the same company, but at 2 different companies for 5 years. And I mean, to be honest, I never was like super crazy about it to begin with. Like it was fine and it was cool, but again, it wasn't that like spark factor for me. It was kind of like I had the skill set, you know, you kind of just go along with it. You know, like I had passions and hobbies and things, but nothing that I was able to make a living out of, or there were things that I wanted to try, but nothing that I was able to make a living out of. So I don't know. I'm kind of going through a work thing, a quarter life crisis professionally, you know? So that's that. I mean, I don't know. I'll keep working, keep exploring, and do my best not to be difficult with myself, because it's just kind of like, it's not anything that is unique to me, if that makes any sense. Like everyone goes through it, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to you just kind of have to be patient and you know, like not be patient and be passive and like not sit there and wait for something to come and smack you in the face. I don't mean it that way. I just mean like I have a job, I'm actively pursuing my interests and my passions, and I'm trying. So I like to think that anyway, throughout that process of experimenting and listening to my intuition and all that, that something will come to me, or I'll stumble upon my path. My path for now anyway. You know, I just try to, you know, keep trying to find purpose in my days. And like I said, I just hope that, you know, that comes to me, because I just don't know. I just don't know what it is that I'm just really good at. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people can relate to that. So I don't know. If you've like been going through that same thing, definitely let me know. And I think it's, you know, and all in all, it's a positive place to be in. I just feel grateful to have a job. And I work in an industry that's kind of necessary, if you will. I'll say that. So, you know, that's a good thing. And I'm just grateful to have, these are my brushes. I'm just grateful to have a job, and just grateful that I'm even in the position to be able to explore like different career paths and things like that. But yeah, I definitely am just like, girl, what are you doing with your life? You know, I definitely just have this, I think why it is really bothering me, because I spend way too much time talking about this. I think why it is bothering me is because I have a desire, and there's like something in me, like deep down in my soul. You know, like there are certain things that just kind of speak to you. There's something in me that speaks to me, that lets me know, like I just have a desire to make an impact on people. And I have like very big goals and aspirations and dreams and etc. Like I think a lot of people do. So, you know, when you experience feelings like this, and you know, you go through some sort of like identity crisis, if I can be so dramatic, then it's really bothersome when you have a desire and a clarity on what things look like on the other side. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyway, I think the next thing that I wanted to get into is like, you know, we came up on a year, not a year yet. It's probably 51 weeks at this point of being in the panini press, the panorama, whatever it is that you want to call it. I definitely think, you know, it's something that affected a lot of people from a mental and emotional standpoint. Most people, I would say. For me, early on, I'll say, early on. Not everyone, of course, but a good chunk of people that were like, oh, hold on, being in a house, this ain't doing it for me. And I totally get that. I mean, I definitely am more on the introverted side. And so I remember, and that's because I was employed and I didn't have to worry about, also I lived with family at the time. So I didn't really have to worry too much, you know, about finances and stuff like that. I mean, I definitely think it even if you were employed, it was a wake-up call to most people to make sure to, you know, have your affairs in order, have savings, etc. In general, like, I'm pretty good at that, but it was definitely a big wake-up call to make sure to, you know, have everything together. So anyway, I was going to say at the beginning of the pandemic, like, I took the opportunity with all the silence and the quiet to, you know, really build some good habits, spend time with my loved ones in my household, just think and reflect, etc. And it was like a good time. I definitely look back. I mean, besides like the whole world being on fire, like personally, I don't look back on it dreading, you know, those first few months. But I definitely think, you know, having been in it for a year, that I'm definitely starting to feel the effects of isolation for sure. Like, it is very strange. And I see why people are losing it, you know what I mean? It's very strange. Does my face look already, y'all? I'm not even looking at, let me look at this mirror. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. All right. So now, the pandemic is starting to get to me. I'm feeling the effects of isolation, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling the effects of isolation. So you let me know down below. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling like stir crazy? Are you feeling like get me the heck up out of here? I'm like wiping off my nose ring because it can get brown from the foundation. Okay. Are you like losing it? What's going on? Talk to me down below, because I'm definitely feeling it, you know? I am feeling it right now. And I don't really know what to do about it. I mean, you know, we just kind of have to wait it out. But I'm like freaking tripping. Yeah, so anyway, the isolation is getting to me. I know I'm not the only one. It's definitely getting to a lot of people, but I'm just like, oh my gosh. I am ready for this to be over. And it's so weird because, again, it's like a year late, you know? And another thing that I wanted to talk about is personal growth. I have struggled with depression most of my life, at least half of my life. Yeah, I'll say half of my life. And in majority of my formative years. And, you know, I'd say over the last 4 to 6 years, like I've been able to, you know, incorporate lifestyle practices in that, you know, help for sure. And I'll do definitely a more in-depth video on my depression survival story, if you will. I know Mental Health Month is in September, so I was thinking about doing it then, but I might do it earlier than that because, like, why wait, you know? That's very important. But I've struggled with it for a long time, and, like, it's just one of those things that's like a dark cloud that comes over you, and it's just a feedback loop of just, it's difficult to get control of, you know, your feelings. It's really difficult to get out of bed. it's really just hard to get yourself out of the darker place. My episodes, as what I tend to like to call them, are definitely way more few and far between. And I think for that reason, when they do happen, it's a little bit more difficult for me to deal with because it really knocks me off guard. I don't really realize it too much until it's like a couple of days in and I'm like, oh, like I'm having an episode, like I'm not feeling good. Because a lot of the times, like, it doesn't, at least for me, it doesn't come and knock on your door and be like, you're depressed, girl. It's like you just start getting more lethargic. Well, at least for me, I start getting more lethargic. I start getting more tired, and I'm laying down a lot more. I'm sleeping a lot more. Like I can't stay up during the day. I start feeling like really lonely and then sad, and then I realize, oh, okay, that's what's happening. But yeah, I've been having a bit of an episode these past couple days, and what I really wanted to say with this is like self-growth just isn't pretty. I feel like it's definitely a struggle, and it's more painful than like a joyful experience. Like, oh my gosh, this freaking sunlight. Let me close these. So anyway, yeah, self-growth and, healing, mental health issues and things of that nature, it can be at times a more painful than joyful type of experience, if that makes any sense. Wow, I'm gonna have to clean that up. Like, it's definitely not always really pretty all the time. And I was reading a new book. It's called How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole LaPera. She's the holistic psychologist on Instagram. So I just recently got her book on Audible. And she really talked about that, and it just made me realize, like, oh crap, you just realize you're so difficult on yourself for no reason. And like, not actively, not like you're a terrible person for going through this or anything. It's just more so like those things, like you're harping on yourself and you're trying to like force yourself to get out of it, and you're just having kind of negative feelings towards your emotional state. And then I just realized, like, I'm like, if I have any desire to get past these feelings, I just need to feel them and just let them pass. And it's kind of something that's normal, and it's part of the healing process and whatnot. You just need to be able to recognize it. So yeah, I think the biggest thing for me right now, as I'm trying to like get myself out of the little episode that I'm going through, you can't get out of feeling these emotions. You just have to do your best to try to make better choices every day, choices that suit your well-being. And, it's just not constructive to be more difficult with yourself than necessary. It's kind of part of the process. These feelings didn't develop for you overnight. And so you just have to kind of work with it, work with yourself. I'm a more critical person. So for myself, I have to try to be more kind, nicer to myself. And it's not even something that I realize I'm actively doing. It's just kind of like my nature to just be like, girl, get it together. Get it together. Like, what are you doing? But I just have to realize that I have to feel my way through it, because repressing is kind of what gets you in the situation in the first place. I feel like I'm just babbling, but like, this is what I'm going through. Yeah, in general, I'm just like trying not to be too difficult on myself. That's all you can do, Life just goes in ebbs and flows. Everything's not gonna be a super high. You're not gonna feel super high all the time. You just have to learn how to maintain a constant inner state of equilibrium, of contentment in general, and just like peace with yourself. And I think what is most helpful for me is making choices that I'm happy with, I'm proud of. It's very difficult to be angry with yourself or judge yourself if, for the most part, you are making choices. You're conscious when you're making choices, so you're not just doing things off autopilot. But for two, you're just happy with the choices that you're making, even if they are upsetting or don't work for someone else. And that helps me sleep at night. makes me feel much more comfortable with the state that I'm in, even if it's not my most productive or whatever. You know, things just really do go in ebbs and flows, and so you just have to learn to work with it. Yeah, just not try to be too mean. Try not to be too mean to yourself, because I am definitely too mean. Try not to be too mean. I feel like I'm doing makeup so slow. How do these girls do this? Doing all these get ready with me's and whatnot. But I feel like I'm having like a therapy session, which is good. So hopefully some of you can relate to this. But yeah, like I'm just like, ugh, what the heck am I doing with my life? My life is in shambles. Even though it's not in shambles, but like it's in shambles. And I'm like, ugh, I have no purpose. What is going on? So anyway, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna do a more in-depth video on my mental health, because it's like a story. It's a real freaking story, let me tell you. But in general, I think, you know, I'm proud of the growth that I've made emotionally and physically. And more often than not, if you're listening to this and you're struggling and, you know, you're probably being a little bit harder on yourself than you need to. One person before that I went to therapy with her, and she always said to think about, you know, what you would say to a friend or to like your little brother or sister or to a child. And generally that applies to you as well. You're probably just being a little difficult on yourself when you don't have to be. So let's all be nicer to ourselves in 2021. Try to anyway. Try your best. No one's going to be perfect at doing something all the time, but just try your best. I don't even know what my eyebrows are freaking doing right now, y'all. This is crazy. Anyway, forget it. Shoot, it's time for wing liner now. I don't even know how I'm about to do all this on camera, but you know what? I always like to do my left eye first because it's way easier to match with my right hand because that's my dominant hand. Pro tips. I don't even think, is my blush even showing up? I don't even know. What else do I want to talk about? I don't feel like I'm really having a therapy session right now. Hey, that's not so bad. I went from the video where I put those extensions in my hair. I cut a few inches off and I'm really digging it. I don't know. Are you? Are you? Because I like it. Like it's like very voluminous and I love it. Alrighty, well, I'm about finished. Yes, this is a very basic everyday look. I swear, sometimes I get on YouTube and I'm just like, literally, who is wearing that makeup outside the house, you know? Like, love it. Artistry, go off, you know? And sometimes you just want to see some makeup that you'll actually leave the house in. Well, listen, I'm gonna look like this, FYI, so don't come for me. They're not done yet. Look at this, I need to buy another one. I'm gonna push my lashes up. Give myself a little lifty lift. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so thank you for sticking with me as I talked out my little feelings and whatever I was going through my little get ready with me. So anyway, let me know what you think about some of the topics I covered down below. I really appreciate you watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why. This light is playing me. Yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.